Est-ce que vous êtes toujours un peu mal à l'aise quand il faut prononcer le TH en anglais? Bienvenue, vous êtes au bon endroit. Aujourd'hui, je vais vous partager ma méthode, une approche différente que mes élèves adorent. Et si après tout ça, vous trouvez que le TH, c'est toujours trop difficile, restez bien jusqu'à la fin de la vidéo. J'ai une petite astuce immédiatement efficace qui va vous faciliter la vie. Alors activez les sous-titres si besoin, parce qu'ici, pour apprendre l'anglais, on parle anglais. Wait, are there two TH sounds in English? Yes, before we get into my technique, there is something very important to be aware of. There are two different TH sounds in English. One is unvoiced and the other is voiced. But what does that mean and why should you care? Unvoiced sounds are produced mainly with the mouth, without any vibration of the vocal cords. For example, the letter T. If you pronounce the letter T and touch your vocal cords, t, t, you won't feel any vibration. Voiced sounds, on the other hand, do use vibration of the vocal cords. Without changing anything in your mouth, the letter T, t, becomes D, d, simply by vibrating the vocal cords. T, d. Other examples of unvoiced voiced pairs are k, g, p, b, f, v, and sh, j. So the unvoiced TH sounds like this, th, and we hear it in words like think and 3. The voiced TH sounds like this, th, and we hear it in words like this and mother. Keep this in mind as we move forward. Let's talk about the technique. So I'm sure you have been told before that to pronounce this sound, you should place your tongue slightly below and in front of your teeth and blow air. Th, or th. And if you can do this, that's obviously fantastic. But for many French speakers, this position feels a little bit uncomfortable and awkward. And honestly, that's completely understandable. If you are one of those people who finds this a little bit difficult, my technique might be a good solution for you. Instead of placing your tongue below and slightly in front of your upper teeth, try placing your tongue behind your teeth. Yes, you can pronounce both TH sounds with the tongue behind the teeth. The key is to make sure that air flows smoothly out of the mouth. For example, th becomes th, becomes th. Let's test it. I'm going to read this sentence twice. First with the correct TH technique, and then with my technique, with my tongue behind my teeth. Let me know in the comments if you can hear a big difference. They thought the theory was thorough. This time behind the teeth. They thought the theory was thorough. While it's not exactly the same, it is a very good substitute. Feel free to pause the video and give it a try. Remember that pronunciation is a physical skill, so it may feel strange at first, and that's completely normal. In fact, if you don't feel any difference in your mouth when you speak English versus French, you're not doing it right. What if that is still too hard? If you are still having trouble, don't worry, I have a great tip to help you sound more natural while you work your way up to a true TH sound. Again, pronunciation is a physical skill, and just like lifting weights, you don't go straight for the 100 kilogram weights, you gradually work your way up. Instead of replacing the TH sounds with S and Z, like many French speakers do, saying, for example, sink instead of think and zat instead of that, try using T and D instead. Now, you shouldn't use the typical English T and D sounds, which are produced by placing the tongue further back than the teeth, actually touching the skin on the top of the mouth. You should place your tongue as you would for a French T or D sound on the back of the teeth. And if you feel comfortable, try adding an extra puff of air for an extra TH effect. So, instead of saying think, you can try think. I don't think so becomes I don't think so. Instead of this, try this. This is easy becomes this is easy. I know some people are going to tell me that this is incorrect, but to be honest, I really don't care because it is so much better than using S and Z, which is a much more common replacement that I hear French speakers using. I've even seen a lot of teachers online suggesting that you use the S and Z sounds as a starting point for learning the TH pronunciation, which I completely disagree with. I think this is terrible advice. Interestingly, this T and D pronunciation is very similar to the way Irish people would pronounce a TH. Those with an Irish accent don't really pronounce a true TH sound, but instead they would use a soft T or D sound.
Tater. Thanks. Thought.
But simply using these T and D sounds won't make you sound Irish if that's something that you're worried about. I've also noticed that many of my Dutch friends use this T and D pronunciation instead of a TH, and I'm sure you know that the Dutch are very well known for speaking excellent English. So while the T and D, of course, they're not 100% perfect replacements for the TH, they will still give you a much more natural sound while you work your way up to a true TH. Let's compare all of these different techniques by reading the same sentence. Let's start with the S and Z. Ze zus die sief sank them. We can definitely do better than that. Let's try it with T and D. The thirsty thief thanked them. Already so much better. Now let's place the tongue behind the teeth and try to add some air as well. The thirsty thief thanked them. And finally, yes, the correct technique with my tongue below and in front of my teeth. The thirsty thief thanked them. My recommendation is that you start with this TD pronunciation, and over time, as you start to feel more comfortable, try to add more and more air, still with the tongue behind the teeth, and over time, try to slowly start positioning your tongue a little bit lower until it is just below your teeth. Okay, let's do a quick practice. I'm going to read the following sentence with the correct TH pronunciation. You can choose your method and try to repeat after me. That thin thumb pressed the thick thread. I know that sentence is pretty difficult, but keep practicing and I know you'll get there. If this video was helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more tips. And if you're wondering why you should even bother improving your pronunciation, I recommend you watch this video next. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!